I didn't know, or I still don't know if what I'm doing has reached that stage where I'm able to speak on it, and it kind of reiterates that fact that somewhere I've reached, or my initiative has reached somewhere, and I'm honored and thankful that the most of the people here are aware of what I was and how this entire thing has moved and how I have evolved as a person along with that movement. And so this all happened around 2.5 years back when I was sitting in urban ashram, and I was sitting with Sheetal, Deepti, Prakriti and another friend, and I was like, I've quit my job and I want to do something for the environment. I've gone into solar, I've gone into wind, but I've failed miserably. I've already spent 1 year of time. Now I don't know what to do. Should I just go back home? That's Bombay, temporarily, yeah. So go back to Bombay and again start hunting for a job. And they did something for me. They took out a check and they gave it to me. And that's where again the journey started for me all over again. Whenever I felt like it's more of this feeling where I felt I'm not able to do it, something pulled me back. So I'll start from the very beginning of my journey, and how many have already mentioned that the idea chooses you. I think even Uma mentioned that, how the idea chooses you. In my life, I think everyone's living their own film. In my film, my director is nature, and it put me into this beautiful school called St. Paul's. It's in Darjeeling. You can see the Kanchenjunga range. It is the prettiest range in the whole wide world. So I was basically getting up at 6 in the morning. I was looking at the sunrise at the Kanchenjunga every day, and I get to see the 7 colors of the rainbow. You cannot see that in any other mountain in the world. So I'm getting up and I'm living with trees for 10 years of my life. That's from class 1 to class 10. I'm just living amongst nature. Back home to Nepal in 11 and 12, it was still very pretty. Whenever I go back to Nepal, I always feel that God's vacationing there and has never stopped vacationing. That's the kind of feeling that I get in Nepal. Then I moved to Pune to do my engineering. Pune was still good. After I finished my engineering, I realized, okay, this is not what I want to do, because as a kid I wanted to be an engineer, I want to make things. But somehow when I became an engineer, I realized, no, I'm not making anything. I'm not able to make anything yet. And but that seed of nature actually resonated when I moved to Bombay to look out for a job. And I chose a job which was completely different than what I studied in those 4 years of engineering. So I went to a marketing line. I joined a beautiful company called NDTV Lumiere. It's a world cinema channel. I did some amazing work. But while I was working there, something kept calling out to me to do something for the nature, something for the environment. Whether it was, not using tissue paper, switching off the lights, which I've never thought of before. But things started coming in. It started changing me, it started changing my environment. And I started noticing things in Bombay which was like disconnecting me from Bombay. I know many people love Bombay. I don't have anything against Bombay, it's just that it pulled me away from it. I mean, probably it put that thought in my mind, you need to do something. I put you in this area. Nature has put me in this area to realize that I want to do something for it. And that's when I quit my job and I moved out from my job and I came down to Pune. We're doing a lot of work of distributing saplings for free in multiplexes, and a lot of work happening. People, friends, all of them helping me out. But I never thought I could make this as a career movement. Probably just let everything go and try. So that's when I started with getting the solar water heating and solar renewable energy and wind. I thought I could do it, but I failed. And this is an amazing quote that Bruce Wayne from Batman. Yeah, I'm a superhero fan, so I'm wearing a Superman t-shirt. So I'm a superhero fan. I will get back to that, why is that. So there's this amazing quote that Bruce Wayne's dad says when Bruce Wayne falls down that huge whale kind of a thing and bats come into him. If you've seen Batman, his bats coming into him and he starts getting scared, right? And then his father comes and rescues him, and his father says, why do you fall, Bruce? We fall so that we can rise again. So I fell, And when I rose, I shed the solar, I shed the wind, and I picked up. So yeah, I rose and I picked up some other things which were actually being developed within me through nature, planting the seeds of getting to farming. And it was not farming away. I mean, others are doing here, and it was a pleasure to meet them. I'm here to cover them, but yeah. So that seed got planted of how I can take farms to houses. So I started experimenting at the urban ashram. From there, a few projects came up. I started developing terrace gardens and kitchen gardens the organic farming way. Learned a lot of the traditional methods of Vedic farming, Vedic agriculture, using the basic necessities of farming, understanding what a plant is, understanding how a plant behaves. You know, you're just watering it. You're just watering a plant and it gives you fruits. And that's what we're living for, right? We want to eat food. Eventually we're earning so that we can live and earn that food and eat your dinner and eat your lunch. And here the plant is not asking for anything, just probably your love, your care and water in the morning and the afternoon, and it's giving you your food. So all that shift started happening in me and understanding how plants function, how they just give. When the mango tree is laden with mango, it will just drop and give you your mangoes. It will not rise and say, no, this is mine. Just take it, just drop. And it won't charge you also for it. Take it, go. So these kind of awarenesses came in. And it's not that I came in suddenly or I just woke up and I was like, oh, I'm enlightened. I think it's being developed. Yeah. So this was time when I was sitting on the windowsill of my house in Bombay, and there's only one tree which I could see all over, and that's a peepal tree, which was just next to a toilet, the public toilet. And that's the only tree I could see in Bombay. And I was thinking, okay, I need to do something, you know, what do I call it? Naam, there has to be a name to it. And that's when the next slide, Ek Titli, happened. So this happened, the name came, and then we started working on terrace gardens, terrace farms. We did a couple of good projects, met an amazing number of people. But while Ek Titli was happening in the sense of organic farming, there was something that was happening behind too. And that was started a long time back when I was getting aware about the environment. So we started a small blog, writing for people, and just covering the basic news, what's happening with the environment in the good aspect. If I ask anyone what's happening to the environment, they would say, yeah, it's not doing well. I mean, rising temperatures, glaciers melting, pollution, etc., etc. Fortunately, I met some amazing people doing brilliant work for the environment, trying to do something on the grassroots level, which is probably helping changing someone's life or changing the environment around, changing the climate around. It's helping. So I thought, why not I start featuring them on the website. So the website ektitli.org is basically a content website highlighting the good things about the environment, the positive things about the environment, which can eventually inspire you to do something about it. And around May, we hit around 3.6 lakh page views. I think I mentioned 3 million to 3.6 lakhs. Right now, I had to take up a job like 3-4 months back because I couldn't sustain myself. At that point of time, the website got a little hit, so it came down to 1 lakh. But it's again, we're working on it, and we have a huge amount of volunteers who are working for the website from different parts of the country and a few around the world who come and write for us, profile people, and that's happening. Now, in this entire journey of Ek Titli, or when it probably found me or I found it, things began to move. Things began to move to the extent that I wasn't a writer before. I started writing, and then a newspaper came up to me, why don't you write on farming, organic farming. So, writing came up to me. Uske baad, I started designing. I was never a designer. So I started designing, I started conceptualizing on how I can use plants on different aspects. The plants can be healing, plants can be providing you food, there's herbs, etc., etc. Then there are certain geometries that even play. When you create plants in a certain geometry, they start affecting your body, and that's what we call the chakra farms, which I have worked on. I don't know if anyone's heard of it. We've not yet got a project, but there were a few in the lines. So basically you're creating geometries in the shape of your chakras, and you're planting plants. So the right plants, like say your root chakra, there's certain plants, you plant them and you start changing your root chakra. So basically the chakras in your body are like your powerhouses. So when one of them is affected, like say somewhere here, your stomach starts getting affected. So, and when you're around that geometry, around those plants, you start eating those plants, it starts affecting the chakra and improving it better. So these are kind of things that I started doing, or I started developing within me. So one of them was, as I mentioned, I became a writer, I became a designer, I started designing websites. I had to design my entire back end of my website, because if I went to someone, he was charging me 2 lakhs for the kind of website I wanted. So I had to sit and think on how to design. Then slowly the other thing which probably I wouldn't have learned while I was in a corporate job, that those things started coming in. I became more nature loving, as in I started getting more of nature in my life, natural living, natural food, to the extent that my house is actually cleaned and mopped with cow urine. And sadly, I mean, unfortunately or fortunately for someone, I was, I was brushing my teeth with ash of cow dung, but fortunately for someone, she asked me to change. But of course, she wouldn't want to eat from the same plate. So, but yeah, it's still the natural living came into my life. Then, then the next thing came where so in this entire journey, initially when Sheetal and friends, they offered that check to me, I moved into a real space of isolation. So Vipassana happened, silence, getting deeper and understanding what I need to do so that I can probably face those failures or be sure of what I need to do. So failures are okay, but if I'm sure of what I'm doing, I'll probably be prepared to face it, or probably be prepared to what direction I'm going. So isolation started helping me with that. Probably I went to an entire cocoon mode as a butterfly, the life of butterflies. So I went to cocoon mode where I just was within, read, practiced, and I was like complete seclusion for like probably 8 to 10 months. And I started coming out, and that's when the community started being built, and that's what happened to the website, the other things coming in, and the other talents probably which I didn't know started coming in, and that's when this happened. So this is my current initiative, which has become so powerful for me that I am able to start touching the hearts of kids. All this while I was touching the hearts of people 28 years above, and who aged, who probably of my age or older than me. I didn't figure out how to start connecting to kids. So when I look back, in fact, just looking back, I was thinking yesterday, it's okay, what would I talk? And I started looking at my life and how it's being planned. So there was a time in engineering when I volunteered for Akanksha Foundation, and I taught kids for a year. And that's when the connection with kids came, and that's when the connection came with how kids are living, especially with the objective Akanksha. So I realized what they're going through. And I felt, why not start connecting with kids and do something with it. And this is an awesome not manifestation, but I started writing on my blog about this fictitious dog called Twigo. And Twigo is this enlightened dog. So he's like this dog. He's like this the tortoise of Kung Fu Panda. Like, there are no accidents, something like that. He's that kind of a person. So he's basically of that genre. So basically, the tortoise and Twigo are sitting together, in that platform, and they give Feng Shui Gyan. So, Feng Shui is the other kid. He's like a kid who's around 11 years old, and Twigo notices things are not right with the environment, and he provides information to Feng Shui. So Feng Shui understands what Twigo is saying about telepathic connection, and Feng Shui gives solutions. So through that solutions, I'm trying to empower kids to start doing for the environment. So when I was kid, or probably all of you who were born in the 80s and 90s, we came up with a lot of superheroes, came up with a lot of comics, and things which made us feel, how powerful we are. Right? So that was that era. So I feel that the kids of now are going to an era where the world's become better. The world's become much better because we've done all the cleaning. And the world's become much better, so I don't want to tell them, dude, you have to face fear. You have to face, there's dirt or there's nothing right. I mean, everything's sorted for you. You just have to continue what we have done. Right? So, through this initiative, which is touching around 15,000 schools, it's been published in a paper called Young Buzz, which is from Sakal Media, and sent around 15,000 schools. So I estimate even if 50 people read it, even if 50 kids in a school read it, I'm probably touching 75 lakh students and helping them or empowering them to think about the environment or how it is. So there was this, I'll just not conclude, just 2 more slides, and there's this beautiful message or mail that I received from a kid who's 12 years old, and she's been following Twigo and what we've been doing with the characters. So I'm not a cartoonist. I was never a cartoonist. This happened, I found a friend who's a brilliant cartoonist, so he does a lot of visual effects for Hollywood movies. And I pitched to Sakal, this is what I want to do, would you give me a platform? They waited for a year and they gave it to me. But all this while, we sat, we brainstormed, we created the characters, and the opportunity came, and this is what is happening. So we're touching around, I believe, at least 15,000 schools, of course, but I'm not too sure how many students. But the best thing that has happened so far, apart from everything else and apart from meeting all you guys, is also that this kid in Goa, who's 12 years old, she replies to me for this comic. Okay, so it's like this. So Twigo, I love walking. Woof woof. What is that guy doing over there? Huh? So hey, what do you think you're doing? Doing something that kind. So he's throwing this kachra into a river. Yep. I mean, are you able to read it?
Yeah.
So that's the flow. So this was the only slightly dark edition that we've kept, because I was going through a bridge and I see this smart man getting off a Camry, and he just takes out 2 bags and throws it over the bridge. So I didn't know what to do. Should I stop over and tell him, dude, what have you done? We just dirtied the already dirty river. So that's when I felt, why not do something through this and create that awareness and empowerment to kids. And based on this very kid has replied, I'll just read it out to you. Like Twigo, I also am 12 years old. Currently my exams are going on tomorrow. I have geography, then Konkani. Then my halls start. After that I have to prepare for my grade 5 keyboard exams, Trinity Guild Hall, somewhere around 15th. Then for my rock school drums exam. Today I'm sending answer to contest. We do a contest there. And then she writes, water pollution is one of the worst forms of pollution. If you live in villages, you will burn your garbage in your backyard, and if you live in cities, you will dump it somewhere, maybe in the water as the man did, or just anywhere. In cities, the municipalities pile it onto overflowing trucks and dump it in one of the nearby villages. The government doesn't seem to have a proper garbage disposal policy. Development, in short, has no meaning if we cannot address the problems that come with it. Therefore, it is the duty of every person to educate himself on the ill effects of pollution and take steps to stop polluting our environment. If we succeed, then only we will have the much desired growth of our Goa and our country. And this is coming from a 12-year-old kid. When I was 12, I never thought. So this is the kind of effects that gladly Ektasli is able to create. I hope that we are able to create more miracles and more things to talk of, or able to touch other people's lives, and that's why the address comes into picture here. I hope somewhere we can walk into your lives through Ektatli, like what we have done in the next and the final slide. Is we've helped raise funds for killer whales in Canada through Ektatli, and I never thought we could get there where we could raise funds to save killer whales in Canada. There are only 90 remaining there, but this just happened. So these are some of the beautiful work that Ektatli has been doing, and I somehow have become a part of Ektatli, or Ektatli has become a part of me. Thank you.